Okay, hello YouTube. This is the creator for RMR Robot Works. I now have a YouTube channel, so what I'm going to do is try to upload a few videos to get started. I have an upcoming build that I'm going to be working on. I don't have everything together yet, so I won't be making a video of that build until I get everything together and I get ready to do it. But what I wanted to talk about today in this video, let me turn this down, just like a little background music. But these are the little junk bots that I've created. Of course, not that. That's the R2-D2. He doesn't count, but it's just for the desk. But these are the little junk bots I created out of found objects, things that people have given me, things that I've found, things that I've bought for like $1. Like this camera was like $1, like $1. It's real cheap. I don't know. Was it 50 cents? Might have been cheaper than that. At a Habitat for Humanity restore, where when you go in and you buy something, they have furniture, they have odds and ends, they have dishes, they have pretty much, I can't even name everything that they have. They have so much stuff, but and all the proceeds go to help buy the supplies to build the houses for Habitat for Humanity. And you can donate things as well. It's kind of like a big Goodwill type of thing. But there's so much good stuff in there, plus it goes for a good cause. Any money I spend, like I bought that at the restore, the camera, a few other little things. Can't remember all the things I bought, but there's so much stuff on the different bots that it's really hard to remember a lot. But there's so much wire and old, used. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm just going to pick a robot up. Now these aren't in the order that I created, so I think I'm just going to pick up the first one. This wasn't the first one I made. But this little guy, and you can go on our Facebook page, on my Facebook, on the RMR Robot Works Facebook page, and on Instagram at Red Menace Robotics. Just type in that or whatever and you'll find it. And you can see you can see more pics. You can see their little stories I made up for them. But this little guy, I hope these videos are going to turn out okay, but he's so little. I mean, I'm blocking everything by holding him, but I'm trying to get. He's made out of this body is a generator connector, and if I turn him over, you'll see, the female connections. They have male ones too, but you can't really attach the legs to the male ones, but I can snip off the I hate to say this, the male parts of the generator connector. This seems a little painful, but in that way, because they're shaped the same, they have the same. This one's made by Cooper, hence that's just his name. It just fit him anyway. Cooper just fit. But he's made out of a generator connector. What I did is these little screws, little small brass looking, get them to come in a little bit. The little feet, the legs, they're just like little screws. They come off of some kind of power outlet box, like you put in a basement for a house where you run different power sources to it. They were little screws, and that's where these little feet came from. And they're just screwed on there, and they were perfect. So then what I did, since the screws were rounded on the top, I just sanded the top of that screw, and then I sanded those washers, and then I put Loctite on them, because as you can see, there's nowhere on this little guy to connect legs, really. You can't drill into it. You can't do a lot of times. So a lot of times on little junk bots like this that are plastic, Loctite is a must. It's a must-have. But I'll set him back down and kind of get a view of him, if you can see him. Now I made a little arm joint, as you can see. If it'll focus a little bit, maybe I'll back up. You can see it a little better, I guess. I don't know. The iPhone is not that great for taking videos as far as focusing in and out. But it's just a little flathead screw. Of course, I sanded it. You always sand, both surfaces that are going to be bonded together with the Loctite. and then I put the little screw on there, and once it dried, I just basically covered it with a little rubber, a black rubber tubing, and then I glued this little arm onto that. And then out here I had this little piece, both of these little pieces, both of them, and I have no idea where they come from. They were just in a box of junk. The little gold ring or brass ring or whatever, and the little plastic knob looking thing. I thought it made a cool looking little ending to that arm piece. And the arm itself, I mean, it works. It moves up and down, which, I mean, it's not essential. All of my robots, all of the little junk bots, and when I start building more substantial, heavier metal, more industrial looking robots, excuse me, they will, none of them are toys. I don't make them to be played with, but it is cool that arm moves. I mean, you know, you can pose it and then set it up on a little shelf like in a kid's room. It'd be perfect. But that, I can't remember where my brother said that came from. I'm 47. He just turned 30. And those are some of the stuff that he had that I bought him when he was younger. And I don't remember. It could have been from, I don't know, Ninja Turtle play set or something. I don't know. But these are toy parts. If I turn him around over here, that is a plastic. It bends. It's like rubbery plastic. You know, it's a molded plastic. It's real flexible. It's a wrench, and I'm not sure where that come from. Maybe the same set that the arm came from. I'm guessing he had tons of Ninja Turtle toys when he was a kid, so I'm guessing that more than likely. I could probably research it. It might take a while to find it, but I really don't care because now it's his, so it doesn't matter. But it just looks good. He looks, I don't know, it just fit him. I put it on. Of course, it's Loctited. I sanded both sides and I Loctited it down because there's really nowhere. It's so small, you don't want to drill anywhere into that and then to drill into this plastic. So that arm is not, it doesn't need to move. He has tons of character with it like it is, so it's no big deal. Now the gun belt, I do know where it come from. And of course he doesn't have a gun. This little guy fancies himself to be a gunslinger just because he loves old westerns, but he has no gun, so we don't have the heart to tell him either, or I don't, that, you know, this gun belt is from a toy, so we'll just keep that quiet. He has no ears anyway, I don't think, so either way. But the little gun belt come from, it was a Spawn action figure. The Todd McFarlane Spawn action figures, and you know, they had the Wild West, the Gunslinger Spawn or whatever, he had a gun belt. That's where that's from. So, and of course I had to use no eyes. Let me get him into the light. See, you can see right there. Those are the screws. The top of this generator connector, this little light bulb was added. Of course it doesn't come like that. But those screws, there's, you know, they clamp down, I guess, the cord that you attach in here to make the generator connector. And that's all, you know, but the eyes is perfect. Why would I put eyes on this thing when this little guy, when he already has them? The little light bulb I had right here was just from, I don't know, it was just in a box of crap I had, a box of junk. It's burnt out, some little bulb I'll pull it out of somewhere, and those little things, you know, they would get thrown in the garbage. This probably would have got thrown. All of this stuff would be, all of this stuff, like I said on a video that I put on my Facebook page, would be in the garbage. You know, would be in the garbage somewhere. Trash, landfill, whatever you want to call it. And that's this little guy. His name is Cooper. You know, I can't remember all of their backstories. I mean, I know all of their backstories, but I don't want to have to go through the whole. If you go on our Facebook page, you can find all of that stuff. And if you can't, just leave a message. I'm probably going to make a little photo album with every single one of them and have their little stories with them. But before I go with this little guy, he's actually the inspiration for, and if you go on my Facebook page again at RMR Robot Works on Facebook, he's the little guy that I'm creating. I'm going to start making a little line of robots called socket bots. And I know this might not really be a socket, but what does that look like? I mean, that's a socket basically. That's what we called them when I was kids, or I don't know what they call them anywhere else, but I grew up in North Carolina, excuse me. And it just fits. Socket bot fits. You know, generator bot, connector bot doesn't really sound well. Socket bot kind of is catchy, so that's why I come up with the name. So, and they're little, you know, and they're simple. I mean, he has the eyes, the body, a place to put something on top of his head, whether it's a light bulb or some other little piece of electronics that might fit his character. When his arms will really show you what kind of character he had. And for some reason, when I put this arm and that arm on and the gun belt, he had like a little Wild West, maybe, you know, like he used to work on like a railroad out west in Texas or somewhere, you know. He had that kind of feel to him, like he used this arm to lift up, you know, railroad ties, and this wrench to work on the rails, you know, to turn the big lugs or whatever on the rails. And of course, you know, the light bulb helps when he works at night and he needs to see while he's working, because I'm pretty sure robots, they probably don't need a break. They just work 24 hours, I guess. I don't know. He's kind of lazy, so. But he just has that feel. And then for his name to be Cooper, which was already on the generator connector, I mean, that's who makes these Cooper Electron. I mean, they make tons of stuff. If you go in Lowe's and ask where you keep the Cooper Electron, you know, it's like a big company still in existence. So, and that's why when I'm going to get back to what I was saying about the socket bots, I'm going to make a little line of these bots, and what I'm going to do, they're all going to basically look the same. Now, some of the generator connectors that you can buy that aren't Cooper, and even some that are Cooper, they're bigger. They're the same style, but some may be like kind of broader. The body is broader. The top is a little different, but they still have that same look to them, but they have little personalities. And what I'm going to do is I've gotten tons of little toy parts, because I figured that's a cool way to kind of integrate, you know, excess toy. I mean, you've seen boxes of toy parts and pieces and accessories and little guns and belts and arms and heads and accessories like the belt or whatever at Goodwill and these restores and people's houses, and you always see this stuff laying around. And my brother had tons of it, and I still had tons of it in a box somewhere. And a lot of it's in my box over here that I need to put on my workbench when I get one. Now I just work from the desk, as you can see. But anyway, I'm gonna create a little line called Socket Bots, and I'm gonna sell these little jokers, because I think these little guys would sell. And they're not gonna be expensive. I haven't come up with the price yet, but it's gonna be well under 30 bucks. I mean, I might 25. I'm just guessing, but they'll be cheap, because I still have to buy these. These are still accessible. And the key for me to making these things, even though they're all one of a kind, these little junk bots, with him, the difference is that these little generator connectors are still available everywhere by different companies. They all have kind of the same look, but the different look, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, they're all basically the same. And there's hardly any work to them. I mean, of course I do legs. I'm not sure, since these leg pieces were found, they were in a box of some stuff that my nephew gave to me as a Christmas gift, which was really cool. A big, huge box of robot parts, which for a robot guy like myself that creates these things, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So thanks to my nephew for that. It's an awesome gift. But these little leg pieces, I made into leg pieces. If I can find that style again, I mean, I'll go out and look. I'll get a whole bunch of those, but if I don't, I'm going to have to come up with some legs that I can find on a regular basis. Or I might make all their legs different, but I'd prefer to make all the legs look like that, because I kind of like that little look. I like it. It's a cool look for this guy, especially using the generator connector, the socket. That's what I call it now, because he's a socket bot. But, you know, and the toy pieces are all going to be different, because there's no way in hell I could find that again. I mean, I could, but not consistently enough, and not in the quantity that I need So yes, I probably could run that down again somewhere on eBay, maybe, or contact some kind of toy collector and ask him what it was and try to find something. But I'm not going to do that because this is him, and there will not be another bot with that arm, that belt, that wrench, that light bulb. You know, he is who he is. Now, but the thing about the socket bots is that I can, you know, make these little guys really quick. It doesn't take long once I have the little pieces that I know, and I kind of place them on there and look and see if it fits his person, you know, if it's, and his personality comes out once you put one arm on. Like, this was the first arm to go on. And then I was like, oh, I mean, I know I talked about this arm first, but this one actually was the first one to go on. And then the call arm I found, I was like, oh, that's perfect. It looked absolutely perfect. And then, of course, the gun belt, it just fit. It just fit, you know. It was great. And, of course, I Loctited it. Loctited. That's not even a word. But I placed Loctite on the belt on the inner side and then held it for 15 seconds or 20 seconds, whatever. And then it stays. And then, of course, I just pull it down a little bit like that. So it looks like a gun belt, like a cowboy would wear. And the little light bulbs and the little thing, I'm going to be a little more lenient with what I put up here. I might put light bulbs on every single one of them, but all the light bulbs might be a different shape or a style or a color for that matter. You know how they have color bulbs. And that's basically it. And I'm going to make them, and I'm going to probably do a limited edition runs, like I'm going to do like my first series. I'm not sure if he will be in it or if I'm going to leave him out and design the bots off of him, or if I'm going to include him. I might include him, I don't know, that's yet to be seen. But there'll be 4 robots. I'll put 4 robots in a series, and they will all be different. Like he would be, if I put him in, he would be one of 4. There might be another one, you know, his name might be Jackson or something, and he might be, who knows, a train engineer or a linesman or a cattle rustler or whatever. If I do a theme like that, if I do a Wild West cowboy type theme or a railroad type theme, you know, I might have a brakeman, I might have one that runs a caboose or whatever. But he will be one of 4. Jackson, the one I was just talking about, if I make one called Jackson, you know, or whatever his name pops up, you know, it just comes to me what their names are going to be. You know, he will be 2 of 4, and then 3 of 4, whoever that is, and 4 of 4, whoever that is. Now, unlike a lot of other limited edition type series, like when you see, oh, there's only 30 or 40 or let's say 200 of these made. Well, I don't have the parts to make 50 of this guy, or 25 or 100 or whatever, or even 10, hell, even 5 for that matter. I don't have the parts to make them all the same and then say, okay, here's a limited edition of 5 Coopers. If you got 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, no, they're all going to be different. So there's possibility, I mean, a strong possibility that, you know, the set will get split up. You might have 1 of 4 and 2 of 4, and then somebody else might have the other 2, or you might have 1 of 5 and 5 of 5 if I choose to do 5, you know. But somebody else will have those, but you will have these. So it's not really that you need every single one of them, unless you're just obsessive about that. And if you are, you might just want to buy all 4 at one time, and it'll cost you, it'll be very affordable, and they're great gifts for kids. I can see kids loving these things, sitting on their desk or on their bookshelf or on their little miniature, the little boxes you put on the wall, shadow boxes and things like that. And they're great. They're great, especially if I can make them light up, which that might be a possibility, but I'll look into that. But that's what I'm going to do with these. They're going to be little robots, and they're going to come, once they're completed, they're going to come in their own little wooden box. It won't be much longer than the socket bot itself. And I got access to those bots at a store. I mean, the boxes, excuse me, the little wooden crates. And they're going to be packed, of course. And I'll have our logo somehow, my logo for the RMR Robot Works. I'm going to have it stamped on front, like kind of like a wood burn type stamp. Even if I got to go get a wood burner and then do a stencil and then do it by hand, each and every box. And then each socket bot, this is the main thing, will come with a certificate of, you know, that will have his name and the number that he is in the series and the date he was created, or she, You know, could be one of them could wind up being a female, could be a girl. You need somebody to keep these guys in line, like her, Lizzie. She keeps them all in line. But what I'll do, get back to what I was saying, I'll make them, put them in the little wooden box, stamp my logo on the front, somehow wood burn it in there. They'll be packed in like a nice shredded paper packaging that you see in the old when they would put in wood crates. And you'll have a certificate of authenticity, of course, with his name, date, all that stuff when he was created, birth date, whatever you want to call it, born date, created date, whatever. Incept date, whatever you want to call it, old Blade Runner reference. And I'm going to have a little book, the little small books that are about that big. You've probably seen them. They're, a little bigger than a matchbook, just enough where you can read them. You can get them at like craft stores and hobby stores, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Benjamin Franklin's, or Ben Franklin's, whatever that place is called. Any place like that. And I'm going to write myself because I like to write. I'm a writer. I've written one children's book that's been published on Amazon, but yeah, I consider myself a writer, but that's another story. But make no money at it, so, whatever. This is what my passion is. This is what I like to do. But I'm going to write their little stories, and I'll have a little book, and it will be included in the box. And it'll all be one nice little package. It'll be a little wooden crate. It'll be packed in it. You'll have the little certificate that'll come in an envelope, and his book will be in the box or on top of the box, whatever, and it'll all be a nice little package. And it'd be like, I don't know, $25. I'm not set on the price yet, so I don't know, but we'll see. But that's, I don't know, this video is 22 minutes. I'm not going to make real long videos because I don't think people want to watch an hour-long video on robots. I think 20 minutes is good. And then what I'll do is I'll do another video later on tonight or tomorrow, or I might do it next, I don't know, right after this one, and post it. Since I got to talking about him, it just kind of, this is probably what's going to happen. Actually, I can tell you that is what's going to happen, because once I start talking about him, you get into the process of the making. And I guess it's just good I start with this guy. You get in the process of what I do to create a certain robot. His process, of course, is a little different than, let's say, Weston, the green fella right here. He was the first one I actually created. Hindsight being what it is, there's some things that I want to do to him now that I didn't think about then because I was just building him and I thought, but who knows, I might make the legs different. But that's what I'll do, is I'll include that in his video. And of course him, he's pretty much him. So, but before I go, of course that's Cooper. I told you the little story on him and what I plan to do with him. He's the inspiration for the socket bots. If you go on our Facebook page and Instagram, you can check out that. But this is Stanley. This is Sonny. This is Lizzie. This is Weston. And as you can see, his name is on his. And I'll get into all the parts and all the different things when I do their specific particular videos for each robot. That is, oh geez, I can't believe I forgot her name. Rosie. That's Rosie. She's kind of like a maid, which is funny. It's kind of like, the Jetsons. But I just made this one real quick. I thought it was cool. And that'd be really cool if I could have got that to light up somehow. In the future I can, but like I said, these are junk. These we're talking about bottom of the box scrapings for a lot of this stuff. Junk. That right there. Oh, jeez. Can't believe I forgot his name. Dexter. Jeez. And it's kind of like Dexter's Laboratory because he's kind of the scientist of the bunch. He's the one that likes to meddle in science, and I'll get into his workings. His head does spin. That right there is Philip. Guess why? That's a Philips phone charger. I'll get into that later. That's Gilmore. He's the biggest robot that I've created. He's the tallest. As you can see, he's the tallest with the antenna. Even without the antenna, he's still the tallest. And back there we have Doyle Turner. He has to be called by both names. Don't ask me why, it's just what he told us. Doyle Turner. And I'll get into the parts that I used to make him, and he's got some things around back that are cool. He's got a few toy parts of his own. I think Doyle, Oh, Doyle and Cooper, little Cooper, have the toy parts. But there's some interesting parts to these little junk bots, and they're just as fun to create as any of the other ones. I mean, I haven't created a real substantial, more industrial, bigger robot, maybe that's a little taller than him, but no plastic or anything like that. So, and of course that's R2-D2. I can't take credit for him. That's George Lucas. And of course but anyway. But that's who they are. So let me go back through them, make sure I had them right. That's Lizzie, Sonny, Weston, Stanley, Cooper, Philip, Rosie, Dexter, Doyle, Turner, and Gilmore. And the guy I'm creating or about to start working on, which I will have a video uploaded on YouTube, I don't know when, can't give you an exact date, but he'll be basically all metal. Unless some plastic piece comes along that just fits his personality, it'll go. Yeah, I'll use it. So, but until next time, I appreciate you guys. I don't think I have any subscribers yet because I have no videos. So, you know, but I just created it a couple days ago, night before last, I think. So, but I will have far more videos in the future. This is just the start of RMR Robot Works YouTube channel. So there's going to be, you know, things like I did today. There's going to be build videos. There's going to be videos when I might record a video when I'm out searching for parts, kind of go through that process of what I do. But I really appreciate you guys. If you hit subscribe, I don't really, you know, if you want to subscribe now, that's fine. That's perfectly fine, and I appreciate it. But I will have more videos up real soon. But I appreciate the support on the RMR